Welcome back, scholars. This is your day 65 e-learning lesson video. This is our third part looking at the Q1 synthesis essay prompt that we started back before spring break. On today's lesson, we've just got a couple of things. You're going to be finishing up the composing phase of the Q1 synthesis essay number 1, and then also completing the eLearning progress check number 4 if you haven't done so already. But before we get into the actual activities for today, a couple of announcements. Next week, we're going to begin our last literature study of the year. The topic is on the pursuit of wealth and the exploitation of labor. So there's going to be a lot of classist themes to talk about with these works. The texts we're going to be reading are The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, The Grapes of Wrath by John Steinbeck, and finally The Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller. The assignments for these texts will be discussion board conversations in Canvas. No quizzes, no journal this time. We're actually in this quarantine period forced to use what I think is a really cool feature in Canvas and other e-learning suites, and that is the discussion board post. Feel free to go ahead and order those books if you want. Otherwise, I will be publishing PDF and ebook copies of all 3 texts in Canvas. A note about the Lit Study journal checks. I've gotten a couple of emails about this. One more note, as I talked about in my intro video, all work on the e-learning is not technically due until Friday. The expectation that I have for you as AP scholars is that you actually do it on the day it's assigned. That's when it's intended, or when I intend for you to do it. But technically I have to accept it up until Friday. Now, this does not apply to the journal checks. The journal checks were assigned back before break, and you've had many, many days to do these, and honestly, they should not take you very long to do. I cannot wait until Friday for these. So if for whatever reason you did not turn them in on day, I believe it was day 62, the first day of e-learning when you were instructed to, turn them in immediately. In fact, let's go and pause the video right now. If you have not yet submitted your literature study journal checks 3 through 5, do so now. I cannot wait another day for these because there's a lot of grading that I have to do. All right, on to the synthesis essay. Today you're going to be finishing the composing phase. That means you're going to finish writing the actual essay. Remember those 3 steps for the composing phase: compose the intro, compose the body, then compose the conclusion. Pretty logical. Once again, I want to remind you that even though I'm giving you samples to help you see what these parts should look like, please do not copy my work. And for a little extra emphasis, I'll let my daughter explain what to do.
Don't copy my dad, or else.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get on her bad side. She's been cooped up in the house for the last 3 days. All right, so we're in step 10, composing the body paragraphs. Remember, there's no required structure, but feel free to use the classical model or parts of it. The body, which you started yesterday, should methodically develop all the ideas in your thesis. Each paragraph should lead off with a topic sentence and focus on developing that singular idea. And when you start a new idea, make sure you start a new paragraph. My sample work is still out in Canvas. You can find it if you go to modules under Unit 3, the e-learning unit that I created since we started e-learning. Look on day 65, although you can look on day 64 or 63 as well. It's on all the days so far. You're looking for the page that says Q1 Synthesis Essay Writing Process. That's where you can find a guide for all of the steps as well as my samples. All right, at this time, go ahead and pause the video and finish your body paragraphs and start the video back up and we'll look at the conclusion. All right, time to compose that conclusion. Just like the Q3 and really the Q2 before that, you want to reiterate your thesis, summarize your lines of reasoning, and conclude by answering so what. So why is this particular discussion important? Here's a look at the sample conclusion that I've written for my essay, and it starts off by reiterating my thesis. Ultimately, the benefits of shifting to wind energy clearly outweigh the potential harms, but stakeholders must still take precautions when choosing sites for wind farms. Next, I transition into reiterating the points of my discussion, just kind of one statement at a time. So I start with the cost and efficiency of wind power makes it undeniably attractive, especially as a means of addressing the climate crisis. That sums up my first body paragraph. Then I get into the others. However, the dangers posed to wildlife and soil erosion, as well as the health side effects of living too close to wind farms, must play a role in where they are built. There I've summed up my second and third body paragraphs. And then finally, add to this the delicate balance between construction cost and remoteness to inhabited areas, and there are still numerous obstacles to navigate. And that's just kind of summing up my fourth body paragraph there. And now my concluding thought here, where I examine the so what. In the end, however, we have little choice but to navigate those obstacles. Our planet is on the brink of environmental disaster, and we cannot continue to abuse nature for our energy needs as we have so flagrantly done in the past. We must instead find less destructive ways to marry our needs with nature's. Doing so will require far less struggle and sacrifice than what we would have to deal with if Earth became uninhabitable. And there you have it. There's the conclusion. Very straightforward, starting by reiterating that thesis, then summing up my points that I made in the body, and then finally answering the so what, speaking to what's the point of all this. All right, at this time, go ahead and finish your essay by composing that conclusion. All right, now that you've finished up your first Q1 synthesis essay, let's go ahead and complete that fourth progress check. Remember, progress checks 1 through 5 have to be completed by Friday. 1 through 3 should be done already. You're going to complete 4 today, complete 5 tomorrow. So at this time, go ahead and head out to AP Classroom and complete the AP Lang progress check number 4 if you have not done so already. All right, once you've done that progress check, you are done for today. That's it for today. You've finished up that Q1 essay. Great job. Next time, we're going to be getting into the scoring guidelines, and you'll do a little sample essay scoring and self-evaluation like you've done in the past. All right, scholars, thank you so much for all your hard work. Please contact me if you have any questions, and I'll see you when I see you.